I'm a little slow. So welcome, welcome, welcome. So Facebook people, welcome. If you see me, hey, oh my gosh, man, what is up? So happy to see you. All right, it's Dixon. All right. How are you? Oh my gosh, I'm glad. I hope you and your whole family are well. Pumpkin nose. I do look like a pumpkin today. I am wearing orange. Today. Terrence, what is up, man? What is up? We got Terrence. Ooh, Terrence, you're making me thirsty with that soda. We got Victoria, and we've got Alona, we've got Jeter. So we good. What kind of soda? What kind? It's grape juice. Oh, it's grape juice. That's good too. I like grape juice too. I've got my coffee. So sorry for Facebook people if you're getting my armpit. Because I changed my setup. Who is it? It's Doug. Buenos dias, Doug. Welcome. So glad to see you. Sort of. One day we'll get to see each other, person to person, live. So welcome. It's cooking. It's Wednesday. I'm all thrown off because of the week, right? Is anybody else thrown off? Terrence, are you thrown off? Because we had Monday off and it throws... No? Okay. I guess I'm the only one. I'm all thrown off. But I need a schedule. That was what our skills group that was on. I'm going to plug some classes while we wait for a couple other people to join in. Are usually on Tuesdays and Thursdays right now. They may move, I don't know. But we were working on like scheduling, order, making a plan. So feel free to join us on the next one. I think it's going to be Thursday, if I recall. So you're welcome to join us. Yeah. Right, Alona, how is it? It's not a bad class, right? It's good, right? I think it's a good class. I need to learn... It's Thursday. Yeah, right? It's a pretty good one. We were working on... Oh, I'm getting different people coming in. And Facebook's getting my armpit. So I've got a little... Hey, Caitlin. Man, your hair is super long. So we've got people on Facebook. We've got people on Zoom. Oh, my goodness. We've got a lot of people coming in this morning. What else? I have this idea. I'm just waiting for... I guess you could say final approval. I could do it anyway. But it's nice. So, I'm planning an art show, a virtual art show for all of you to submit work. And, stay tuned. Stay tuned for that. We might have some speakers. It should be a lot of fun. So I just want to showcase all the work that you've all been doing. So just be aware. Keep an eye out for it. So, welcome. What is this? Like the 10th, 11th week? What is this? Does anybody know? Is anybody still keeping count? It's cooking. No. When we started our first recipe, does anybody remember? It was not on Zoom, but we had a recipe. If anybody remembers my first virtual cooking class, does anybody remember? Anybody? I'll give you a hint. It was St. Patrick's Day. That was our first online cooking class that I had over here. It was St. Patrick's Day. And we made, I think, Irish soda bread when you didn't have buttermilk. Because, it was a weird day. Right? So we made Irish soda bread. Terrence's dad makes it much better than I do. But we tried it. So every week we've had a different recipe. Today for your culinary pleasure, we are going to do, I'm not baking today. I didn't bake, did we bake last? Well, actually I am baking something. I am putting something in the oven. We are going to showcase, we're going to try 2 recipes. I really don't know if they're from India, but we are going to try some Indian spiced chickpeas and some Indian curried barley pilaf. I'm going to go a little exotic today with barley. I don't know if anybody has barley in their house. Let me just get one more swig of coffee. Yeah,
What's
Hannah.
the first recipe we're making, Deborah?
The first recipe we're going to make is Indian spiced chickpeas. Good morning, Jamie. Good morning. Good morning. Glad you're here.
What's the Indian type of food? What type of Indian food is it?
So, well, I don't know if actually it's if it's from specifically from India. If maybe Nita can tell me because she lived in India. Maybe we can contact Hemant. I don't know. But we're going to use some spices that are associated.
I need help taking notes.
Okay. I'm going to start going through the ingredients now, but you guys know I always post the recipes as well. I post it in the thread, and I'll post it online too, okay? So we've got 2 recipes we're going to work on, and we're going to see, and one of them might be done by the time we're done here. One of them is going to need chickpeas. Chickpeas, okay? So here, I'm going to move a little closer. Alrighty, and let me just make sure I don't have anybody in the waiting room. Good. So your first thing is, now one of the things we talked about, and it's always a challenge for me to try to find recipes with things that we have in the house, things that we typically just have in the house, or if we're going to the food store during this time, we might pick up. So the first thing you're going to need is, and I always have, this is my last can of chickpeas. I call them chickpeas, or some people call them, anybody know another name for chickpeas? Good morning. I think that means Kara's on as well.
Garbanzo beans.
Garbanzo beans. Yeah, I always called them, or chickpeas. That's how I grew up. My mother's family is Italian, and we used to always make something called ceci pasta. So we called them chickpeas. I don't know if that's the way you're supposed to say it, but that's how we said it. Chickpeas or garbanzo. So you can get dried ones, but you have to make sure that they're cooked. So I think it's easier, get a can of chickpeas or garbanzo beans, okay? You're going to want to drain and rinse these. So mine are already drained and rinsed, just so you know, okay? So for the first recipe, PU, smells like chickpeas. You need chickpeas or garbanzo beans. Now, for spices, I don't have all the spices, so I'm going to go through. I might throw in something a little extra. Because this is interesting.
Deborah, I need help with the ingredients, please.
Okay, I'm going to go through the ingredients. Just hold on. And I think Caitlin said she has a craving for hummus. We made hummus last week or 2 weeks ago. And it was good. It was good. Without tahini. Without tahini. So for the first recipe, you're going to need a can of chickpeas, okay? Or about a cup and a half. A cup and a half. Then we're going to need either red curry powder, okay, if you have it. Yellow curry powder. I only have the yellow, so I'm going to use that. Curry powder's interesting. They're just a combination of different spices, which is always interesting to talk about. So we've got that. You can also substitute different things too. You can, if you don't have a certain curry powder, you can put in cumin or something like that. So curry powder of some sort. Here's one that most people don't have that much in their cabinets anymore, but you're going to need some allspice. If you don't have allspice, which I do not have any left, I am going to replace it with, you can make a mix. Allspice, to get that flavor, you can combine it with a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of clove, and a little bit of nutmeg. I'm going to use a little bit of nutmeg, okay? But if you have allspice, you can use it, or nutmeg. You're going to want, where is it? You're going to want some ground cloves. Ground cloves. These are really nice, strong smelling seasonings. You're going to want some cayenne pepper, or, red pepper, some powder, little bit of heat, which I think is nice. Now, if you don't like any of these spices, you can cut them out. It's okay. Ginger. We want a little bit of ginger. So we want some ground ginger. Alrighty, some ground ginger. All right. Then we're going to want some sea salt, some kind of salt. I'm going to use kosher salt because my sea salt is somewhere else. So I'm going to use some kosher salt. And then
kosher salt, Deborah.
you can use regular salt, hon. No worries. A little bit of salt. Or if you're watching your sodium intake and you don't want to use any salt, just cut it out. We're okay. We're just going to wing it. We're going to wing it like most of our stuff that we've got. And what was the other one? Where was the other one? And the last one is we want some ground cinnamon. So if I don't always, if I'm swerving by, let me see. I see Irma joined us as well, I think if I've got it. Yeah, nice. All righty. Okay, so some ground cinnamon. These are the seasonings you're going to need for this, okay? That's, and one other thing, which, where is it? Some olive oil. Or some type of oil. I'm going to use olive oil. All right? Olive oil. Oh, we should have some olive oil in the house. All righty? And that's it. That's it for the first recipe. So if you're going around and you're getting your stuff ready.
Help.
What's the matter?
I need help with this recipe title. Can you help me, please?
It is Indian spiced chickpeas. Indian spiced chickpeas. I don't know if my thing is flipped. My thing might not be flipped on this one. Okay, chickpeas. Indian spiced chickpeas. And if all you want to do is write spiced chickpeas, that's okay. Alrighty? Does that help? Now, what you're going to need is you want some type of baking dish. We are going to put these in an oven. Okay? I know some people are sending me chats. I can't always. Yes, you can use very good. You can. Caitlin said you can use saffron or what was the other one, Caitlin? I just popped out of my head. You can use different spices to do these things. So you can use cumin. There's different ones that you can pop on in there in the replacement. Okay, so you're gonna need a cookie sheet, a baking pan, anything like that. And your oven is going to be 400 degrees, okay? That's the first recipe, okay? While you are writing those things down. Our second recipe is going to involve some barley, okay? So not everybody has this, but if you go to the store and you see it, you might want to try it. I always keep some barley in my house. Does anybody know what a lot of people make with barley? Anybody want to take a guess? What's probably the most common thing? Ooh, somebody's got a lot of background noise.
Oatmeal?
But yeah, you can make like a pilaf. You can make like a risotto. Nice, Michael, nice. You can make, usually we use a lot of it in soup, right? Beef barley, I make mushroom barley. A lot of times we make it with soups. And barley gets a little, I don't know if that really counts as gluten-free. I don't think so. I don't know. So if you're a gluten-free person, you may not want to make that. You can use something else to do it. So I'm going to go through those ingredients afterwards, but I just wanted to let you know we're going to be working with a different grain today. So let's get started on our spiced chickpeas. These are going to be baked, and supposedly they're supposed to get crunchy. Now, you guys know the deal. I never make these before I do them here. So if it's going to go bad, it's going to go bad, all right? But we're going to try it. So the first thing we're going to need is our chickpeas, as we were talking about. So I open the can. They have to be cooked. They can't be dried beans, okay? That won't work. They have to be cooked. So that's why we recommend a can of chickpeas. So you want to rinse them, because anybody here ever open a can of beans? What is it like when you open up a can of beans?
Usually very watery, right?
Yeah, there's like water and gloop and stuff like that. They kind of just keep them fresh. They're just not individual. There's kind of like this gloppy liquid onto it. So you want to get rid of that. Now, I've heard, I don't know, raise your hand if anybody has heard this as well, that sometimes to help beans or legumes sometimes make us a little gassy, right? You know, I don't know if that's true for everybody.
Yes, that's true.
a little gassy, right? So sometimes what they recommend to reduce a little bit of the gas is to make sure you rinse your beans. I don't know if that's true. That's what I've heard. If somebody else has heard that, please let me know. Chime on Facebook. Maybe Cheryl, you've never heard of that. You've always heard these things.
It's actually not.
I don't know. I don't know if it's true. Has anybody heard of that? So rinse them. But I don't know. So I'm going to put my beans in a bowl, okay? So some of the things you're going to need is a bowl, and actually maybe 2 bowls, okay? So I have one for my chickpeas, and I'm going to put my chickpeas aside. Now, I'm going to work on, oops, got my cap, always safety. Okay, and I didn't tell you guys, I forget, but before you start cooking, what's the first thing you need to do? What's the first thing? Hey, Christian, what's up, man? What should we do first thing before we start cooking?
That's my fault.
Anybody? You're gonna wash your hands. You're gonna wash your hands. So I used a lovely lavender soap. So wash your hands, okay? So our chickpeas were drained and rinsed, and now they're in the bowl waiting for us, okay? And now, if you're using your oven, I'm going to use my little mini fast oven, so I'm not going to preheat it, but you would preheat a 400-degree oven. Christian says you went for a walk with your parents. Nice, Christian. Nice, I like that. So we're going to start working on the spices for our spiced chickpeas, okay? So we're going to put in our curries, okay? If you have curry powder, okay? So you're going to put...
What are the other ingredients?
What? That's it.
I need more notes.
Okay, well, you're going to have to wait for the notes, Hannah, because right now that's it for the spiced chickpeas, okay? That was it. There wasn't a lot to go into the spiced chickpeas. I promise. So we had our can of chickpeas. We're going to add 1/4 teaspoon of our curries if you want to add them. Now, curries are a combination of different spices usually. And there's a really cool history. Caitlin, I bet you're the type of person who likes to do research. There's a whole history on curries, on curry powders and stuff like that. So it's really more of, I believe, a Western adaptation of combining Indian spices. So it's pretty cool. So there's red curries, powders and yellow curry powders. I've got here a yellow curry powder. I don't know if you guys can see that. Right? It's kind of a nice smell. I like Indian food. So we're going to put in 1/4 teaspoon of red curry powder and 1/4 teaspoon of yellow. I don't like the too strong, so I'm only going to put 1 spoonful, 1/4 teaspoon. Remember, teaspoons are the smaller ones. And I'm going to put that in my little bowl. I'm going to make a spice mix, okay? That's what we're doing. So we put in our curry powders. They're off to the side. Now, we've got allspice. If you have allspice, you're going to put 1/4, 1/4, 1/4 is another way of allspice. I don't have allspice. I'm going to replace it with some nutmeg, okay? So you can do that. And I love the smell of nutmeg. Has anybody ever smelled the smell of nutmeg? Let's see. Christian's saying...
Yeah, I love nutmeg.
I love the smell of nutmeg. It's like a really strong, savory, kind of spicy smell. So when you're...
How many teaspoons of nutmeg are you adding?
I'm only adding 1/4. You can do 1/8 to 1/4, okay, of a teaspoon. Very good asking. Very little, guys. These are strong spices. What do you think, Irma? You writing down notes for me? Checking things out? Good.
Yeah.
Good girl. Thank you. Now, so we've got that, all right? Now we're going to move on to cloves. I love the smell of... Well, okay, now I see Caitlin's face. She's making a face. Caitlin, do you like the smell of cloves?
Yes,
really calming aromatic.
Yeah, it's these are strong smells for some people. I'm just going around checking people out here. Cloves are actually supposed to be very good. I don't think you should eat a whole bunch of cloves. That's not what I'm saying. But traditionally, they're supposed to be very good for like oral mouth ailments and things like that. But cloves are kind of spicy too. And does anybody know what holiday we might see a lot of these, or season we might see like cloves or nutmeg? But cloves, we take the whole clove and we put them in oranges. Does anybody know what holiday? Give a shout out. Okay,
Christmas maybe?
Around Christmas, yeah, Christmas. Kind of that spicy scent, and it goes really well with citrus. Now, Hannah needs to know, we need 1/4 of a teaspoon of cloves. 1/4 of a teaspoon of cloves. And I'm going to show you here, and I know here, very like dark, kind of brown. Let me see. I have to go back to my camera so I can see. Love that smell. Love that smell. So we've had our curry powders, our allspice or nutmeg. I was replacing a little bit. Cloves. Now we're going to move to something a little spicy. A little spicy. We're going to go to cayenne. Woo! Cayenne. Cayenne's like a red pepper. Okay? Now, do not chug this, okay? I don't think you're going to like that. Once again, I'm making it easy for Hannah. It's 1/4 of a teaspoon of cayenne. Cayenne's that really nice orange. That really nice orange color. These are beautiful brown. Wait, was somebody talking to me?
I also need ingredients for the next recipe as well.
Okay, I will do that in just a sec, my friend. I will. I promise. Okay, so we had our cayenne. Cayenne adds some heat. It's spicy, right? Who here likes spicy foods? Who here likes spicy foods? Raise your hand if you like spicy foods. No? Nobody? I don't got any spicy people? I love it. Okay, Caitlin, maybe a little bit.
But if it's like that much.
A little bit of heat. That's what we call it. A little bit of heat. Now, very different smell. We're going to move to some ground ginger. Now, ginger has, I don't know if anybody, it's kind of tangy. It's kind of a tangy smell. So we're going to go.
Ginger for what recipe?
We are working on Indian spiced chickpeas. That's all we're working on. Alrighty. Okay. And we're doing what? Okay. And we are doing a 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger. So if
How many teaspoons?
a quarter.
How many teaspoons are you in?
A quarter teaspoon. That's it. Just 1/4. Okay? So now we're going to go to our salt. Okay? They said sea salt in our recipe. When you see it, you can add table salt. I don't think it's different salts, different components. I think they're all going to bring out the flavor anyway. I'm going to use kosher salt because it's a little bit it's bigger. It's a bigger flake than regular table salt. Okay, same thing with sea salt. But if you only have regular table salt, regular salt like let me see, salt like this, salt like that, that's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm going to use my kosher salt, and it's a 1/4 of a teaspoon. 1/4 of a teaspoon. That's it. And if you notice, everything except the last ingredient is a 1/4 of a teaspoon, okay? So it was a 1/4 teaspoon of red curry, a 1/4 teaspoon of yellow curry, a 1/4 teaspoon of allspice, or I use a little bit of nutmeg, a 1/4 teaspoon of cloves, a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne, a 1/4 teaspoon of ginger, and a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt or salt, some kind of salt, okay? Now, this one is the only one that's a little different, all right? and it's cinnamon. It's cinnamon, okay? We're going to use a whole teaspoon of cinnamon. Cinnamon is also, I love the smell of cinnamon. Ooh, I can never get enough of that. Ooh.
I love it.
Oh, who loves cinnamon? Raise your hand, raise an eyebrow. Ooh, cinnamon is just, Michael likes it, Caitlin likes it. I love it. Irma, do you like cinnamon? Maybe a little, yes. I just love it. So here's your cinnamon. It's got a nice warm brown color. And it's got a wonderful smell. Hello. So glad. So that was the only one that was a teaspoon, my friends. Only one that was a teaspoon. Everything else that we added in our little spice bowl was a quarter. So here we are. Here's my little bowl of spices. My little bowl of spices. And I'm going to just stir them up a little bit. I think I'm going to stir them up. Okay? Ooh. And you should have, right? Yeah, cinnamon's delicious. And now you should have kind of this nice little mixture of spices, right? Pretty simple, right? So far, pretty good. We've got this, right? Now, we're going to bring back our chickpeas or garbanzos. And if anybody else says cheese, let me know. I'm a bit curious if anybody else uses the word cheese for them. I've got my bowl here. Let me see if I got it good. And what we're going to do is we're going to add some oil and then the spices. So we've got our olive oil. One of the things we need is our measuring cups, okay? Difference between our spoons and our measuring cups. Our measuring cups are bigger, right? Because they're working with cups and things. This says a quarter cup of olive oil. You want just enough to kind of coat all your chickpeas, okay? I'm going to just go by the recipe, so it might be less, it might be more, but this is what's going to help your spices stick to your chickpeas and make them yummy and crispy. So I have a quarter cup of olive oil, nice extra virgin, regular. I don't think it matters. It's whatever you got in your house. If all you have is canola, what, Michael? Yeah, some people say it's for the flavor. Some people really like the processing. For our purposes today, we're not going to worry about it. If all you have is like, what's another oil some people use? Canola. Some people use vegetable. Sunflower. You can use those oils. Experiment. A lot of people like certain oils for certain health benefits. But which one? Olive oil. Olive, I always have olive oil, man. Always. Alrighty. I'm half Italian, so we always gotta have that. So we're gonna put. Irma's laughing. She knows. Like, come on. You gotta have it. So I poured my olive oil into my chickpeas, okay? And I want to make sure I'm starting to stir them up to make sure they all get coated. I have to admit, you might be able to use a little less. You might be able to, but whatever, So now we're going to slowly add our seasonings into our chickpeas. Ooh, I'm adding a little bit at a time, and I'm kind of stirring them. You want to be a little gentle, because sometimes when you're using the chickpeas, the little coatings of the chickpeas come off, the skins come off, okay? So here we go. Ooh, it smells delicious. Oh, I've got a special guest. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, Victoria.
What is this?
We're making spiced chickpeas. Simon's got a little bit off from school. What do you think? Smell. Yes, no?
Smells like cinnamon chickpeas.
Smells like cinnamon chickpeas. It does. So we stirred up our chickpeas with our spices. See how that's working, guys? See how that's working? So I'm doing a class, and you got to come back.
Am I gonna have that for breakfast?
Okay, no, you're not having it for breakfast. You're having it for lunch. How do you think I take care of my family? So we're gonna pour our chickpeas out onto our baking sheet. I'm just gonna let them kind of move around and separate, and we're gonna put this in a 400-degree oven, okay? And this is gonna cook for about 20 to 25 minutes. And you want them to be a little crispy on the outside and soft in the inside. So we're gonna see, okay? So hold on, I'm gonna put this in my oven. And I'm gonna put it on. Does anybody remember what temperature it was? It was 400 for 20 minutes, 20 to 25. I'm gonna do 20. I'm gonna do 20. This thing cooks pretty good, so I'm gonna do that. So boom, there we go. Alrighty, our first recipe is done, which was great, guys. Nice and simple. Things you should have, and you might have in your cabinet. You can adapt it, you can adjust it, make it your own. That was our Indian spice chickpeas. Now, we're gonna go, we've been doing 2 recipes, which is pretty impressive. I'm impressed with you guys. We're gonna make an Indian curried barley pilaf. So what do most of us usually associate pilaf with? When you order pilaf in a restaurant, who said it? Caitlin?
Me.
Yeah, and what kind of grain? Starts with
usually like a rice.
It's usually a rice. Would you agree, Irma? Usually a rice?
Yeah.
Yeah, usually a rice. Sometimes you might have people use like an orzo or something, but we're going to do something a little different. And we're going to do it with barley. So I don't know if everybody has barley here, but this might be a reason for you to run out and buy some barley. And then you can make some barley soup too. So barley, one of the reasons why some people use it for what we call like a risotto, it's like a barley risotto. It's kind of like a risotto is what would you call it, Caitlin? Like a mushy, I don't think it's supposed to be mushy, but like a mushy rice dish, a very thick, creamy rice dish. Would you agree? So
Yeah.
Yeah, so barley does have a tendency to make like very gummy, when you're cooking soup, and it thickens things. So Hannah, here you go. Here's your next set of ingredients. I didn't want to give them all out at once because I didn't want to confuse myself and other people. So your next set of ingredients for curried barley pilaf.
How do you spell that? How do you spell curry?
Curry,
C-U-R-R-I-E-D.
We got some good spellers over here. I know one group has been working on a spelling bee, so good for them. So curried barley pilaf. Barley is B-A-R-L-E-Y. L-E-Y. And I'm going to show you what, so this is kind of cool. I'm going to see if you guys can see it. They're very small. So let's see. Oh, my manicure's already been ruined. So I'm going to show Facebook people and Zoom people. Let me see if I can get 2 going at the same time. They're really small. They're really small when they're dried. See, I don't know if you guys got it. Let me see. There you go. Really small. They're like these little white, I don't know, balls with like a little line. It's a grain.
They almost look like beets.
Yeah, they're really tiny, right? They're really tiny. There you go. There they all are. This is what they look dried. Okay? Who here has ever cooked with barley before? Be honest. Who here has... No... So far, I see no one. No one. Let me just see. Oh, I don't have a swipe. I don't have... Okay.
Probably.
You may have. Who here has ever eaten, like, beef barley or vegetable barley soup?
Ooh.
Like in a diner? No. Okay. Like I said, I don't know if it's I think it contains gluten. So some people who are watching that, watching gluten, or they have to avoid it, may be avoiding that as well. But barley is actually a very good grain for you, if you don't have those issues. And it's supposed to be very good for you. So this is cool that we're trying something different. Now, if you have rice at home and you want to use rice, you can totally use rice, okay? It will cook different. Barley takes a while to cook. As you guys can see, there are these little pellets. There are these little pellets like rice, and they have to be cooked to soften, right? Raw rice is hard, alrighty? So barley has to cook for a bit. So what we need is we're going to need 1/4 of a cup. 1/4 of a cup of butter, okay? Now, we've said this before. One of the cool things about butter is it already comes pre-measured for us, right? Already comes pre-measured. So we need a quarter cup, and on my stick of butter, a quarter cup is 4 tablespoons. Oh, my cats are going nuts. So I'm just going to take my knife right where it says fork. Ooh, that smells, my gosh, guys, that smells delish. Delish. I'm just smelling my oven. Ooh, this is going to smell up your kitchen so nicely. That smells good. Oh my goodness, they're like doing their thing. They're frying up. Alrighty. So we need a quarter of a cup of butter. Now what you're going to do is you need a pot. This is cooked over a stove. Okay, so you need a skillet or a pot. So I have my skillet, and I'm going to put my butter into, I'm going to also remove the paper, into my skillet. Into my skillet. The paper would not, yes, Irma's laughing at me. I've done that before, Irma. I've totally cooked with paper on. So we need a quarter cup of butter. You're gonna need 1 onion. You know, if you like a lot of onion, maybe you pick a big onion. I've got a medium size to a small onion. Alrighty. So we've got our onion, our butter. You're gonna need 1.5 cups. Thank you, my friend. Are you brushing my hair? 1.5 cups of pearl barley or barley. Okay, barley. And this is asking for a 1/2 teaspoon of allspice. I'm gonna change it up a little bit. I'm going to use a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of clove, and a little bit of nutmeg. We'll talk about that in a second. Those are good replacements. You're going to use turmeric. You're going to need a 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric, which is a very bright yellow seasoning used in a lot of Indian cooking. I'm going to switch it with cumin because I ran out of it. You're going to need your curry powder. You're going to need some black pepper. And you're going to need chicken broth. Okay, we're gonna have 3.5 cups of chicken broth. I'm gonna go through everything. Now, things you can add. You can add slivered almonds if you like, and you can add some raisins if you like, okay? So let's get going. Let's get this going. So I put my quarter cup of butter in my skillet, okay? That's gonna be the first thing, and I'm gonna melt that. Now, I'm going to get my onion prepared. What we need is your onion is going to be, it's nice if it's finely diced, okay? So, who here likes to who here likes to chop onions? Please let me know if you like to chop onions. What do onions do to us when we chop them?
They make us cry.
They make us cry, Michael. So if you see me crying, don't worry, I'm okay. When we use our onion, we're going to take the yellow skin off. You always take that yellow skin off. And I'm just going to cut with my knife. I'm going to make long.
Oh, shit.
Oops, somebody's got, I get it. Sometimes that stuff happens.
Yeah.
Literally, it happens. I'm just cutting because I'm trying to do it fast so I don't cry in front of you all. This is like an old onion. Does anybody have tips when you're cutting an onion? Some people put them under water before they cut them. Some people wear like masks, stuff like that. So I have my onion here, okay, and I'm going to turn on my skillet. So this is a stove. You want, you know, just enough heat, a medium heat, to make sure that your butter is going to start to melt. And I'm going to let my butter start to melt. I'm chopped up my onions pretty small, as you guys can see. A little bit of onion there, okay? And then the next thing I'm going to do, and like I said, a medium to high, but always be safe. What should we should roll up our sleeves. We should not have long flowing shirts, right? So we're gonna add to the butter. Let's see if I can get this going. There we go, my butter's starting to melt. All right, I might cut it up a little bit more. Okay, my butter, ooh, I can start to smell that. My butter's starting to melt. And what we're going to do is we're going to add to the melted butter our onions. Okay, our onions and our barley. So let me get a spoon that I can stir. Okay, I've got my wooden spoon. Okay, so my onions are starting to cook in there. And now I'm going to measure my barley. So I need a cup, let me just make sure, a cup and a half. Yeah, cup and a half of barley. So I've got my measuring cup here. Okay, that's a lot of barley. Now, you could use this as a side dish. You could use this as your main dish. It's up to you. So I've got 1 cup. I'm going to put that right in there. Okay, and I'm going to put a half a cup. Okay, a half a cup of my barley. Okay, there we go. My butter is melted, or it's pretty close to melting. I've got it. I'm working on my safety. And here we go. There we go. I'm just stirring it a little bit. Gonna put it on that frame. So this is going to start to cook. This will start to, the melted butter and the heat will also soften your onions. Who here likes raw onions? Raise your hand if you like raw onions. Does anybody? Adam, you like raw onions? Really, man? Irma, do you like raw onions?
No, I like them cooked.
Thank you. I just don't like it. What do you think, Victoria? I just don't like raw onions. I like my onions really soft. Really, really soft. Okay? So that's cooking away. And you want to cook this in your skillet, stirring frequently, okay? So it doesn't just cook in one spot until the onions start to soften. So that's about 5 minutes, they say. All right, we'll see. So the next thing you need some type of liquid, all right? They recommend in this recipe chicken broth. If you are vegetarian, you're not going to use, you might use butter. If you're vegan, you're not going to use butter. But you might use the butter. But if you're vegetarian, you're going to use a vegetable, okay? You're going to use a vegetable broth. You could use water if you were really desperate, but you're going to have to add more seasonings. The chicken broth or the vegetable broth adds some nice flavor. Oh, we got a latecomer. And that's okay. We got Dave coming on, making his way on. So I'm still cooking my onions. Hey, Dave, so happy to see you, man. Okay, so Dave, we're doing some Indian-inspired recipes where they're almost done. They're cooking away. Some Indian-inspired chickpeas. Alrighty, I'm getting ready to take them out. And they smell delicious. The combination of the cinnamon and stuff like that, it smells really good. I'm going to give them a little shake, guys. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, I just gave them a shake. You don't have to, but I just wanted that smell. Ooh, delicious. Now we're working with a grain we don't always work with for our barley pilaf. So, as you can see, it's cooking away, all right? It's cooking away. All right. About 5 minutes. So, my onions are starting to get, I don't know if you guys can see on my spoon. Sorry, I can never figure this out. It's kind of getting soft, my onions, which is good, which is what I want. My barley's getting a little toasted. Now, we're going to add, oh, wait a minute. The chicken broth goes afterwards. You think when I read that, I saw that. So, while the onion is cooking, and before we add our broth, we want to add our seasonings as well. So, they wanted a half a teaspoon of allspice. Now, I don't have a half a teaspoon. All right? I don't have a half a teaspoon. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a combination of spices. That will make you have something very similar to allspice. So I'm going to add a little less than 1/8 of a teaspoon of of nutmeg. So allspice, the flavor is very similar to allspice, nutmeg, and cinnamon. Okay, so clove. So I'm going to add about, let me see what I got here. Let me just see that. Okay. I'm going to add 1/8 of cloves, okay? And I'm going to add 1/8. It's a little over 1/4 than our original recipe, but that's okay. Where'd my cinnamon go? So I'm adding a little bit, okay? And I'm going to add 1/8 there. So the one I didn't add the most of was the nutmeg. Nutmeg, I only added a little bit, like a dash. So that's my equivalent to the 1/2 teaspoon of allspice. So I'm adding that in. I'm mixing it. Can you guys see that? Okay, I'm adding it in. I'm stirring it so it doesn't get burned. Alrighty, we're going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric. Turmeric is that bright yellow spice. If you don't have it, I'm going to use cumin. You can also use cumin. You can. So both bright yellow, both very distinctive flavors. So we're going to add that in. Yeah. Now we're going to add our curry powder. I'm going to use a yellow curry powder. And we're going to use 1/4 of a teaspoon. 1/4 of a teaspoon. Okay, just 1/4. Okay, we're just adding those in. Adding those spices in. We're going to add the salt. You can add whatever you want. If you've got kosher salt, if you've got sea salt, if you've got table salt, it's okay. I'm going to add a 1/2 teaspoon into that. Okay. And you can add, this says a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Now, some people don't like it that spicy. They don't like a lot of pepper. So what I'm going to do, I say do it to your taste. I'm going to just add it to my taste, probably about 1/8. I don't like a lot of black pepper. It gives me indigestion, okay? So there you go. That's what it looks like. It smells delish. We're going to stir this up. Make sure we mix all our spices in. And now, in order for the barley to get soft, it needs a liquid, okay? So now we're going to add our chicken broth or our vegetable broth, okay? So this says 3½ cups, alrighty? So I'm going to count along with me. This is 1 cup. Whoa, can you hear that sizzling? 1 cup. We've got 2 cups. Now we're adding a lot of liquid. You're going to see that this is going to look like a soup. This is going to look like a soup, okay? That's 3½ Usually, when you buy a container or a can, it usually comes in about 32 ounce. You can get a smaller can. So you're going to have some left over. Hold on to that. So if you guys can see, this right on Zoom. It looks like a soup. It's very watery. It's got a lot of liquid, and now my barley is just floating around. And you guys are going to say, Deborah, that doesn't look like a pilaf at all. Pilafs are kind of, they're dry, so to speak. They're not like a soup. It's, it's like a side of rice, right? What barley and rice need is they need a liquid. They absorb the liquid. They get bigger. These little barleys that we saw, these little itty bitty guys, let's see, just like a pasta, these little itty bitties, looks like a tooth, I know, looks like a tooth. It's going to grow. It's going to grow. It's going to expand. It's going to get a lot bigger, okay? So the water is they're going to absorb the water. So by the time this is done, you're not going to have all this liquid in there. It's going to absorb it, and they're going to grow, and it's going to be mainly a big thing of barley, but not the liquid. Hey, Becky, what is up? So nice to see you. Now, you're going to allow this to simmer. Does anybody know what is a simmer? Can anybody explain that to me? What do you think? What's a simmer? It's not, is it a full boil where it's like boiling away? Like a big bubbles? No.
It's like medium.
It's a much lower bubble. So when things are cooking and they're boiling, right? You get all that boil, especially with water, right? It just bubbles and you see all these bubbles coming up. This is not that. It's a much, it kind of, and I don't know if you guys can see it on there. It's just like a little bit of bubbles coming up, just a little bit. It's the best way I can explain it. It's like a very slow boil, very slow, soft boil. What is, and it's nice to see you, Becky. I'm sort of seeing you, so I hope to see you soon. So, but thank you. That made my day. So what I'm going to do, now this doesn't say, what? Are you talking to us, Terrence? You got to mute if you're talking to, okay, you got to mute when you're talking to other people, man. This doesn't say that we have to cover it. Sometimes when you cover things, it doesn't allow the moisture to expand. So I don't know. I might just cover it a little bit while I'm talking to you guys. There, I don't know. So here we go. It's cooking. We're getting a nice little soft simmer. And my allergies I'm ready to sneeze. Now, when it does say cover with the lid. Okay, good, Deborah. I thought I read that. Cover with the lid, and once you see a little bit of boiling, a little bit of simmering, you can cover it with the lid, and you're going to lower the heat. So you get like a slow, steady simmer, okay? And you're going to cook this for about 30 to 40 minutes until the barley is tender. If you ate this right now, your barley is crunchy, and that does not taste good. Barley gets very soft, but it needs the water, and it needs the heat to soften it up, right? Right, Dave? We don't want to eat like pellets. I mean, who here has ever eaten undercooked rice when you've gone to a restaurant? Has anybody? It's terrible. It's gritty. It doesn't taste good. Now, you guys could stay with me all day if you wanted to, but I know that's incredibly boring to watch something boil and cook. But when the barley is tender, that's when you're going to take your spoon or your fork and you're going to fluff it up. You're going to see. And then you're going to add your slivered almonds. I don't have slivered almonds. I might put them in a food processor and chop them up a bit. If you have almonds, you don't have to. Some people are allergic. And some raisins. You're going to do about a 1/4 cup of slivered almonds if you have them. And you're going to do a 1/4 cup of raisins if you want. These are all optional. You do not have to. We really dig raisins in my household. You add them in at the end, you toss them up, and they're ready to serve. Okay? Now, our chickpeas, see how well I planned this? That's pretty good. See, Dave, you've inspired me when you said, yes, we can do 2 recipes when they're shorter, and I think we can. I am going to show you what the chickpeas look like. Okay, so I need something to put down. Okay, let's see. Okay, we're going to see what they look like, guys. I know you're all aflutter. You want to know, did this work? Should we bother? So let's go. I'm going to get what do I need? What do I need when I get something out of a hot oven?
Oven mitts.
The oven mitts, thank you. I don't want to assume that everybody knows. Okay, so I'm going to get this all ready. Okay, so I've got my thing here. Let's open this up. Okay, Dave can't believe it. It's not, don't worry, Dave. Okay, so here they are. They're kind of, I think you could reduce the oil a little bit. Okay, we're just going to kind of let these guys go. Just shaking them up. Make sure they smell fantastic. Can you guys see that? They really smell good. Now, I do this every time when I'm with you guys. I take something and I like burn my mouth. So I'm going to put them in a bowl. And I'm going to taste one for you to see if this is worth it. For you guys. So, our recipe said They should be. Now, these are like a snack. That's the way they sold them to me in the recipe. There you go. There you go. And let me just see. I just have to go over here. I see some people like, I don't know. They look like little, I don't know what they look like. They look like, I don't know, little crispy balls of some sort, right? So, they're covered with the spices, if you can see. Ooh, and I'm burning my hand. They are pretty hot. But anything for you guys. See what they are? They're kind of covered. Alrighty? Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Dave's like, wait a minute. Deborah's only eaten one. It's a little crunchy on the outside. What, Caitlin?
Do you taste the curry powders at all?
Yes. Yes, I can. It's a whole combined, like, definitely you can smell the cinnamon. And you can taste that. So I'm going to taste another one because they're hot. It's like, whoop. They're like a little crunchy on the outside, but they're soft. But not soft like mushy soft. They're soft like when you eat a chickpea. Does that make sense? They're a little,
yeah.
they're a little crunchy. Now, I don't know. Let me see. Let me check this out. Ooh, you can definitely taste, you know, one of the things that the person that wrote it, if you were missing any of the ingredients, don't worry. They're still flavorful. Skip it or add what we did. And let these cool. They said let them cool before you eat them. So the idea is you can eat them cold or at room temperature. But I have to do this for you guys because I haven't had breakfast. You know, Caitlin asked, can you taste the curries? The curry powders. It's not like super strong. Because I only put in one of the curry powders. But you can taste that cayenne. They've got a slight heat, but you can taste like the cloves. It's got like that flavor that you have in a lot of Indian food, but not like overwhelming. But if you don't like spice, I would reduce your cayenne because I feel some heat. These are not bad at all. These are pretty good. These are not bad.
That's what I do. I might reduce the cayenne.
I would reduce the cayenne if you don't like it because it's not like it's like burning my mouth off, but it definitely has it has heat. I feel the heat right now, even though I've swallowed it. So
like the sinuses.
Yeah. So if you don't like that, or you're concerned about the spiciness giving you heartburn or something, reduce the cayenne. Maybe you can omit it, or reduce it to like, what were we saying? It was a quarter. Reduce it to an eighth, or just a dash. I think that'll work really well for you. So, and I'm just letting you guys see. Whoa. It's simmering away.
Steamy.
What? Ooh, I feel like, and I know you guys can't see it too much, and I don't want to pour it because I don't want to burn myself, but I'm looking at the liquid. So as you are cooking this, you'll start to see that the liquid, the chicken broth, or if you're using vegetable broth, is already thickening. Those little barleys are already, they're already growing, they're already moving, and they're releasing whatever they've got. So what I recommend to all of you is I recommend try it. These are different types of spices. Different cultures have different types of spices. Okay, and try it. If you've got a can of chickpeas around your house, try it. Make a little snack. Do something different. I'm wondering if they might work really well, like if you dip them in a little bit of yogurt or something like that. That might take some of the heat off as well. But as they cool down, they're going to get a little crunchy, and they're going to be like a little snack. So what I thought today was we made like a little snack, like a little side, and then we have our pilaf. And we tried something different today. We tried a grain that you usually don't eat. So thank you for being so open-minded about something different. I'm going to post these recipes for you to try. If you do, send me pictures. If you think they stink, let me know. Probably next week we'll go back to something more baking. One of the things, let me tell you about the day and some of the stuff that's coming up. So let me see, what is today? Today is Wednesday. 12:30 is Lunch Bunch with Allison and Stacy. It's Wednesday, so I don't have, today is a little bit of fitness fun, kind of like a little something different with me. We're going to do that. Nothing crazy, just get a little bit of movement, be a little silly today. Then 2:30 is music with Tony. Alrighty, then tomorrow, Thursday morning, we start off the day with our social group. A lot of you on here, I really recommend it. Come on. It's not the same. What'd you say, Terrence?
I'm at the bingo at 6:30.
Oh, that's right, Terrence. Thank you very much. There's bingo at 6:30. So if you are participating, it's our regular bingo with numbers. I emailed people a way to make your own board. If you do not want to do that, it's too complicated. Victoria, I did email you one, so take a look. It's at your email, though. If you need a bingo board, let me know.
I sent you my mom last night.
Yeah, okay. See, check in there. If there's a problem, I'll text it to you. So check in. It's a very easy process to make your own bingo board. You can print it out, or just join us. But you're gonna need coins. You're gonna need bingo chips. You can use pennies. You can use, I don't know what else you've got in your house. You could use chickpeas, dried chickpeas. You could use anything that will mark it. If you need to mark it with a marker or a bingo dabber, you're going to need multiple boards or print out, make copies, okay? That's at 6:30. And then I think July 1st, one of the things I'm working on is an art show, a virtual art show that you can submit your artwork or writings, and we will do something on Zoom. So we really encourage everybody to come in and show support. Even if you don't have something that you want to submit, you should come on anyway. So you'll be hearing about that soon. So I'm just sharing that with you guys today. So I'm going to say goodbye to Facebook peeps. Thanks so much for joining me. It was nice seeing you.